All right, we are recording. Welcome, you guys. It is December 4th, our first Diesel Nation team call of December. Like I just said, it's mind-blowing that in just a few weeks, we are going to be kicking off 2018, our 8th year as an organization. Like that to me is like mind-blowing. Before I turn it over to one of my favorite coaches in the entire network. Her name is Kacia Fitzgerald. And you're going to hear her story, and she's going to inspire the ish out of us tonight so that we can crush our goals leading into the new year. I want to cover what we are focusing on as a team right now. And I don't think that it's a secret that I am 1000% focused on launching 80-Day Obsession with a bang. Like with a bang. And I posted in our Diesel Nation Gets Obsessed group that I'm starting to get the feelings of back in 2013 when the 21-Day Fix launched, and there was so much excitement revolving around that one program that we literally broke the internet when 21-Day Fix launched, and they sold out of the containers, and they were trying to rush them from China, and it was insane. Like, it was insane. Like, Mindy, you remember those days. Mindy hit Success Hub 105 the month the 21-Day Fix launched. Like, insane, right? And I know that we can get that much momentum, not only with the launch, which is cool because it's kind of staged differently than a regular launch. We have this pre-launch period, then we have the launch period, and then we have the full-blown January 8th, January 15th program going up on Beachbody On Demand. Like, mind-blowing what can happen if we do this right. So that's why all of these calls, and you're probably like, oh my God, I'm so overwhelmed, because you have Kim on the National Wake Up Call with Miguel Carrasco, which, by the way, fantastic call. If you didn't hear it, hear it. It's really good. Then you had last Friday, you had Autumn with Kim on the Beachbody Champions page. Another very good call that will get you in the right frame of mind to launch this program. So you guys take that time, really make this your focus, like learning what this is all about. I mean, I know you guys know the program and you know that stuff, and we're, obviously we crushed it when we did a little obsessed last month. We're going to do it again this month. So like the physical program you guys get, but the launch of this program is what you need to learn how to do. And the way that I see it is there's 3 components to this launch. Number 1, it's your commitment. It's your commitment to this program. I've shown you physically what can happen when you commit. My sister has shown you, Monica has shown you, Mindy has shown you, Danny showed you, all the 80-Day Obsession coach test group participants. I mean, like, look at Brittany that gets pictures. Does that not, like, literally, like, melt your brain? Like, of what can happen when you commit to this program? Joan, I mean, it's just crazy, right? So number 1, it's your commitment. Are you committed, right? And as a coach, I don't know if you heard this, but if you buy one of those bundle packages, right, whether it's the Mega, which I intend on buying because I'm drinking that Recover like it's going out of style, or it's the step down from that where you're committing to 1 month of the performance line, or it's the basic, which I don't recommend, but hey, whatever. As long as you get one of those packs as a coach, do you realize you're going into a test group with Autumn, right? So did you know that? If you didn't, write that down. And so if you have coaches that are committing to this program, you want to be talking to them and educating them on their commitment to the program. That's step 2, is if you have current customers or current coaches in your PS organization, are you talking to them about this? I know I'm talking to my coaches, I'm talking to the team, but are you like messaging your own PS coaches and saying, let's do this together? And did you know if you buy one of these bundle packages, we can be in Autumn's test group? And there's going to be a lot of cool other things that happen in the next month with regards to this program. But I mean, if you look at my IG account, I did a post with a picture of me and Autumn. A lot of you have pictures of you and Autumn. from Super Saturdays, from Summit, from events. Use a picture of you and Autumn if you have it. If not, make something up cool and talk about this test group opportunity. I was at first like hesitant, like, is this a test group? What is she doing? And then you go into the back office and it says coach test group. So you can use that language to start attracting people, right? And that's step 3, is the attraction of new customers and new coaches to this program, right? So step 1 is your commitment. Step 2 is your current customers and coaches' commitment. Step 3 is how are you attracting new customers and new coaches to this program? And I'll tell you that one post about Autumn doing a test group has generated a lot of new conversations. Don't sit on that. I told my PS leaders, I said, careful, because they have to be a coach, right? So you don't want to kind of throw that out there like everybody can be in the test group, because that's not true. You have to massage it because they have to be a coach, right? They'd have to sign up as a coach. But man, what a great conversation starter for people wanting to commit to this program. And you guys, I'm here to tell you, this isn't like the 21-day fix or any other program. It's okay for you guys to be 100% honest about the commitment it's going to take to do this program. Don't be afraid of being 100% transparent that this program is going to be a lot of work. It's going to be a lot of commitment. It's going to require a lot of focus, a lot of planning, a lot of prep, a lot of sacrifice. You better believe that I'm doing that. And the response from my people, well, some people are like, well, not okay, you can do something else, but if you want to go all in, then let's have a conversation about what all in looks like. And it's going to look like Shakeology. It's going to look like Performance Line. It's going to look like this. And people are being receptive. People want change, and people are willing to invest in change in the new year. All right. So the 3-part focus for this is your commitment, your current customers, and your coaches' commitment. And then what are you doing to attract people? Use a little obsessed. It is coming. And you guys, this program can not only change you physically and everything, like I'm a whole new individual right now, but it could literally launch the success of your business in 2018. I have no doubt, and I'm 100% convinced that that is your future if you do this correctly. All right, I'm done. But I will remind you that next Monday night, we have Autumn herself on our team call. And I'm gonna do a webinar style on that one so that you can invite your customers. All right, so anyone that is interested in ADD Obsession and wants to hear from Autumn herself, I've already announced it in my challenge groups, and everybody's excited to join in on the webinar next Monday. So I'm opening it up not only to you, to your team, but to your customers as well. All right, you guys, I'm done. I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to turn this over to Miss Kacia Fitzgerald, who I love. She's amazing. She's a 9-star diamond in her first business center, 2-star diamond in her second business center. She's an executive leader. She is a Success Club All-Star legend, 4 years. That's 48 months, right? Did I say that? I think 48 months, and she's 2-time elite, about to be 3-time elite. She has lit a fire in my butt so that I could be a 6-time elite coach, and I'm going after it. I am so going after it. You guys, I'm going to stop talking, and I'm going to turn it over to Kacia Fitzgerald, who's going to inspire the ish out of us.
All right, guys, what an intro. I'm stoked, and I actually just took notes on your ADD Obsession because I'm so freaking pumped right now to be a coach, like today. I want to give you guys a little bit of backstory, kind of on my story and how I got involved, and then talk to you a little bit about motivation and goals, but also like how to create momentum right now, especially during this time of the year. So, backstory. I signed up as a discount coach in September of 2013, and I didn't really have any desire to build a business. I was working at the time as a project manager at an engineering company in Seattle, and I was managing a team of software developers that were in China. And so they were 9 hours ahead of me. I was working crazy hours. I actually had a lot of career growth and opportunity at a really young age. And I liked my career path, but my health and fitness just kind of got put on the back burner. So I signed up to get P90X, and I put down my coach as my coach, like in the Who's Your Coach section, without even ever talking to her. I didn't know anything about her other than what she posted on Instagram. I liked her quotes. She had a cute family. So I wrote down her as my coach, thinking that maybe she would earn commission. And she reached out to me on Facebook and asked me to be in one of her groups. I said no, of course. And you don't ever say yes the first time. And so I kind of followed what she was doing publicly and decided that I wanted help. So I joined one of her groups, fell in love with the process, signed up as a coach immediately just to get a discount. Really didn't have an intention of building the business. January 2014, I thought maybe this could be a really fun side thing. And this is a really important part of my story that I've started to recognize now is I didn't connect with her story. So my upline coach is Brigida Linford, who I love, but we are very different on paper. I am in a long-term relationship of 9 years, and I live in downtown New York City now, moved from Seattle to New York. I don't have any kids. I've always wanted to be in the corporate world. I wanted to be like the VP of a company and climb the corporate ladder. I just had all of these career corporate goals, and that's not quite her story. So I didn't understand what this business could look like if I didn't want to retire my husband, and that's what she had done. And a lot of other coaches in the network have done amazing things. But when I first started coaching, I had to paint a different picture and tell my story of how this could be a fun side thing. Until ironically, 6 months into coaching, I went to Summit, and I had fallen in love with the process of building this. I was a diamond ring coach. I was like, this is so fun and fulfilling. This was this fun side, fulfilling hobby business that I had. And I heard Christina, ironically, talk with my coach, Brigida, at Summit. And she talked about her story, as you guys all know, and like being a lawyer. And I looked at my boyfriend and I was like, that's going to be my story. I'm going to think that I can do it all. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it all the way that I want to if I don't look at this as a different opportunity for me, because I was already in love with the process. So I was mentally in this state where when I heard what Christina said, it hit me like I had heard someone's story that I could really connect to. So I talk about it all the time, that was really impactful for me in building my business. I left Summit, started working at Google, just decided to really go all in on this business, left the corporate world in April 2015, and I've been coaching full time since then. So that's my basic story. But what I want to talk to you guys about is why I'm super excited about this business right now at this point in time, and kind of how you guys can cultivate that motivation for yourself and make this business fun and fall in love with the process, because that's what I'm really, really passionate about. At a certain point in my business, I'll share with you guys, I got to the point where I was doing this full time, and I had hit a lot of the goals that I had set out, and I was making more income than I really ever thought that I would make in my life, even as a VP of a company. And that was mind-blowing to me, that this type of opportunity was in front of me. But I forgot about that first 6 months when I fell in love with the process of building this business, you guys. So I was attracting coaches when I was doing this full time, and I expected that they were going to instantly fall in love with the process. And I didn't give them that time frame. And some people it takes 1 week, 1 day. Some people like me, it took 6 months to really understand the magnitude of what this could be. So what I want to do is empower my coaches right when they come straight in the gates to figure out what it is that pumps them up, what gets them most excited about the business, and then set up these small little milestones for them to hit along the way so that they're finding joy in the process, not just what the process produces long term. I want to know what they're passionate about long term and what they think this could be for them long term. But it's those short little small goals that essentially just put deposits in your confidence bucket that create this momentum so that you can move forward in your business. So when you think about it, like when you're excited about something, like I'm really just excited to be talking to you guys tonight. I'm excited about this time in the business. I'm just really, really pumped, and I can feel it in my body. Like think about the last time you were excited about something. You sound different. Your posture is different. You can just tell that the way that you want to connect with people is very different than if you're kind of just doing things to get them done versus doing them to do it because you're pumped. So how do you actually, I've been thinking about this a lot. how do I actually get myself to be so excited about this business, even when life is crazy, even when maybe it's not convenient to do some of the things that I need to do, or maybe when I'm dealing with something that's more negative, how do I get excited? Well, I'm asking myself the right questions constantly. So our brains, like, as you guys know, are kind of like computers where we have to answer the questions that we're asking. So what are you actually asking yourself? Are you asking yourself, why is it so hard during this season? Why do no coaches want to sign up? Why does Facebook change their algorithms? And now my post gets 1 like instead of 50. Like, are you asking yourself those questions? Because your brain legit has to answer those questions, right? So what about if you consciously decide that you're going to ask yourself better questions? You're going to say, why is it that I'm so excited today? What can I get excited about today? Who can I reach, and what problem can I solve for them that I'm most excited to solve? So for me, I'm 28 years old, and I feel like I'm most excited to solve the problem for people that are at my stage of life, that are kind of looking around at their career or maybe their marriage or where they're at, and they're comfy and things are good, but they're not great. But they have this like pit in their stomach that they're like, wait a second, is this it? That's the problem that I want to solve. I want to show that coaching can be a side thing that can add a lot of fulfillment to their lives, right? And maybe it will turn into something bigger than that. But that problem, that makes me excited to know that I can solve that problem. So figure out what it is that is the problem that you're most excited to solve for them, right? So when you're getting excited, what can I get excited about today? What's the problem that I'm super excited to be the solution provider for? And who am I going to pay this opportunity forward to? Because if you're on this call or you're listening to the recording, coaching has already done something epic for you, probably in the fitness realm, probably emotionally, probably in your marriage, if you're married, with your kids, whatever the dynamic is. That's why Beachbody is the best company, because when you invite someone to be in your challenge group, your new 80-day obsessed group, or maybe it's a current challenge group that you have right now, you know that when that person feels better about themselves, you're not just helping that person. The ripple effect of the people that you're helping around that person, you're helping that person's husband, that person's kids, that person's coworkers, that person's friends, right? This is so much bigger than one person. So you've got to, it's imperative right now that you get yourself into the best mindset so that you can really serve that person, but also those people around them, especially during this time of year. So asking yourself, why is it that I'm so pumped? Why is it that I get to pay this opportunity forward? And why am I excited right now? So that even if you have the best Facebook posts, and even if you know everything about all of the launches and you're just like a Coach FAQ ninja woman or man, if that's your story, that's amazing. But if you don't feel excited and you don't feel gratitude for this business and you don't look at this as paying it forward, people can feel that, especially in social media where, when I started really actively building my business in 2014, Facebook was way different then, right? And Christina can attest to this with a lot more years of experience in the business. But I didn't feel like Facebook, I would log in and get added to a bazillion groups that I didn't necessarily want to be added into in 2014. So people are used to a lot of noise right now. That's not a bad thing if you can be a positive noise and you can find that platform that you can reach those people in, and that you're passionate about this as an opportunity and gift to pay forward. When that actually feels that way, you won't have a hard time hitting Success Club, because you're just actually going to want to talk to people. You're going to want to connect with people. So that's a little bit of a mindset shift, right? But if you have that mind shift, that's great, but you also have to have a goal around it, because I think that confidence builds in this business. So for example, I told you guys about that first 6 months in the business. This was fun. This was exciting. I was hitting Success Club. I was a diamond rank coach, which is awesome. Huge milestone. And I think it's like the process of building to diamond and hitting Success Club for 6 months before I went to Summit, that confidence built so much that I was ready to receive a message that I happened to hear from Christina, ironically, that resonated with me so much that I wanted to go all in on this business. So we forget about the fact that hitting Success Club and going diamond, which going diamond is essentially just going emerald multiple times, right? Like most people have gone emerald. You're just going emerald multiple times. That's all diamond is. So in that case, that confidence that's built, those tiny little milestones that are built month after month after month, that confidence makes it so much easier to build this business. Because when you're confident, you can be more authentic. You can post that post on Facebook saying what you actually want to say versus what you think you should say. You can invite that person and say, you know what, girl? Like, this is my typical invite on Instagram. You know what? I love your vibe. I feel like we would be friends in real life. I think you would benefit from a Girl Tribe fitness community. Have you ever thought about joining one of my groups? Right? That's a typical type of invite. I'm literally just saying, like, I like you. You like a lot of the same things that I like. I feel like we'd be friends in real life. So you might also be really interested in these groups that I run. It's super simple. It's bestie jargon, not business jargon. I'm assuming that all of us are friends. What is the worst that can happen? They don't respond to me. They unfollow me on Instagram. I'm pretty sure I'm never going to run into them at like Trader Joe's or something, right? So it's all good. But that confidence takes time to build. And that's what I've learned so much in my business is all of those times that I hit Success Club. It's not just hitting the goal. And it's not just the people that I'm helping. While those are amazing things, the people and the goal, both of those things are super satisfying. But it's the confidence that is built by doing those things that are a little bit uncomfortable. Because now, after, like Christina mentioned, 4 years of hitting Success Club, I'm not worried about if I'm going to hit Success Club. I will make it happen. But because of that confidence that's been built over all of that repetition. So if you're just starting, I don't know what everyone's tenure is or what all of your guys' stories are, but depending upon your tenure and your experience in the business, maybe you're a newer coach, or maybe you're pushing for a goal that you haven't yet hit yet. Understand that as you start moving closer, that confidence is going to build, and it's going to get easier to do those things that got you to that goal. And you're just going to continue doing those things over and over again. But if you don't tee yourself up with a goal, I had this struggle. I'll be honest with you guys. I had this struggle like 9 months ago. I didn't know what my goal was. And I kind of just felt like I was like, well, I've like hit this goal and I'm happy with our income and I'm excited with our team. But honestly, like humans, we love progress, right? So if you don't work towards something, you're robbing yourself of the opportunity to hit those milestones along the way, which increases confidence and fulfillment, along with helping a crap ton of people love their lives more in the process, right? So peel that back. Even if you're a lot of coaches on our team, I talk about the power of part-time coaching, and I talk about how I really think this can be an awesome side business for people often with our team. But even if you're doing this as a part-time thing, maybe you don't see yourself ever being a full-time coach. First of all, I never thought I would build a business, period. So things change. But that being said, even as a part-time coach, these rules still apply, where you still want to set a goal. Because if you're building any type of business, it's that satisfaction of hitting those goals and setting those goals and proving to yourself that you can push beyond your comfort zone, you know, because that confidence creates more authenticity, and it just feels better to be your freaking self. If that can be one of your goals, that should be one of your goals, in my opinion, because that self-awareness and that confidence, that it just feels good to be like, you know what, I'm me. And if you want to unfollow me, I don't give two craps anymore. But that confidence has been built from doing those invites when I'm scared, from setting those goals that I'm not sure that I'm going to hit, from missing some, but from also hitting some and getting that giant deposit in my confidence bucket as I'm starting to move forward. So don't rob yourself of that opportunity, right? And like, even when I think about Beachbody coaching, it's like the programs that we have are legit. Like, you were just talking about 80-day obsession. It's like Christina has abs galore. Like all of the girls in the test group, they look bomb. The guys too, right? Everyone looks great. We all have certain transformations. Maybe we've taken a couple steps back. That is life. People understand that life is an up and down and all around. Sharing your journey authentically is so powerful, but we don't have to worry about if Beachbody's coming up with the products or programs, right? When I think about starting a business, it's like, if this was a franchise, we would have to invest all this money. If this was a new job, or even if it was a part-time job, you would have to invest all of this time and effort to learn everything as you go, right? To invest resources in marketing and all of these things. But we literally just sign up as coaches. We don't even have to figure out any of the product stuff. Like, how in the world would I know what to do if 21 Day Fix ran out of containers and I had to call China and figure out how to do that? We don't have to do any of that stuff, you guys. So trust the product stuff is figured out. Okay. So all you're doing is you're building your own confidence. You're getting more and more authentic. And then you're showing the F up, especially right now, because not just time of year, but inaction breeds fear and all sorts of nasty stuff inside your head that will go on repeat over and over and over again in a time where it really matters that you show up. So I keep telling myself, it's like, if I'm nervous about something or if I'm feeling like lazy about something, it's like, dude, no. Inaction is going to create these doubts in my head that I'm not capable of it. Screw that. I'm going to go send 5 invites, and guess what? All of a sudden I feel confident. I feel capable. I feel like I can move forward. So often we analyze so much, we're not just doing it. Like literally go do it. If you feel nervous, go do it. And it just makes it easier, right? Especially coaches that have been here as long as me or even longer than me, like anytime that you're in a season where you're like, I just feel kind of funky. It's like, well, you're probably not doing a program or you're just not doing the work. So go do the work and you feel better. Go follow the program to a T and you feel better, right? When I feel wacky, it's because I'm drinking too many martinis and I'm not doing my invites, right? So Kacia raised her hand. But for real, so I think it's really important right now that we show up. So I just want to give you guys 3 quick tips of why I think it's important to show up right now and how to do it with something tangible. Because I don't want to just pump you guys up. I want this to be more tangible. So number 1, extra proactive. Be extra proactive about our time during this season, which means you need to map it out. So when I was working at Google, I worked like probably 60 hours a week. And I didn't work on my business at work, except for, you guys know, like you take your phone to the bathroom and like maybe send a message when you're in there. But besides that, I didn't work my business at work. So I had to be very proactive. On Sunday nights, my boyfriend and I would actually sit down and map out what do we have going on during the week and when can I block off chunks of time that I could work on my business. Maybe your life doesn't look like that. If you're a mom or you're, staying at home and you're a mom, your life is not going to be 2 hours of chunks to work on your business. It's going to be 15 minutes here and there. But actually sit down and just take the time to map out what does a day look like? Where are there some 15-minute pockets that I can unplug or plug into to build my business? Or if you have the luxury to have a chunk of an hour or 2 hours, being proactive and communicating with your significant other and mapping that out for the week. That was a game changer for me because I wanted this to be a 6-figure business for me once I decided to build this. So I had to treat it like that early on and set a marketing plan. Any 6-figure business would have a marketing plan, which means when am I actually going to build my business? What are some of the things that I want to talk about? And being proactive to map that out. So again, especially during this time, if you know you're traveling, I make things games. So I buy that $40 Wi-Fi on Delta and I'm like, I'm going to earn this back, right? If you're traveling for the holidays, whatever it is, like make it fun for you because if it's fun, you're going to get it done, right? We all know that. So ask yourself constantly, what is it that I'm doing? Can I make this more fun and enjoyable? Because you have to show up right now, you guys. This is the time when no one shows up. And if you do, your business is going to reap the rewards so much. And not just showing up in terms of hitting Success Club and talking to those new people that will come around in January, but setting those goals right now for your business, whether anything that's measurable. Like I want to show up and do XYZ each week. I want to sign up 2 coaches this week because when you do that this week, next week, you're so much more confident. You're like, I did 2 coaches last week. I can do it again. And you build on that confidence. And that's how momentum starts to build. And I will tell you, it is so much harder to start momentum than to stir it. Once it's started, it is freaking amazing. And I just want to share with you guys one little thing. My boyfriend told me this when I was like 6 months into my business. And I think about this all the time. It was super late and I was working on my business. It was literally like 1 o'clock in the morning. And I was like determined to not go to bed until I finished one of the things I was doing. And he's like, babe, right now it probably feels like you are pushing a giant monster truck tire up a hill. But he's not even an analogy person, so I have no idea where you come up with this. He's like, once you get to the top, I feel like you're going to have lots of ups and downs still, but it's going to feel easier. But this part is going to be hard. Do not stop because then it's going to come back down and it's way harder to build that momentum again. So do yourself, your team that's following you, your people on social media that are following you, those people that are around you that you are the only person whose story they are going to resonate with, that honest story. Do those people and everyone that is impacted by those people a favor by showing up right now, even when it's not convenient. You just have to be more proactive. So number one, be more proactive. Number two, put yourself into a state of gratitude. You are grateful for this business. If you don't know why, take a second to sit back and think of, if you removed Beachbody, what would be missing? The entire community? Would it be those messages? Like, you guys, I'm a words of affirmation person, love language, words of affirmation and quality time. So when I get a message from a challenger or a coach who's like, Kacia, because of you, my life's changed, or because of you, my marriage has improved. Because of you, I can chase my kids around again. Because of you, I feel like I actually have fulfillment and people that get me in my life that encourage me to be more me. That is my fuel. So when I think about my invites that I don't want to do, I do them because one of those people, maybe not today, but maybe next month, that's going to be the person that's going to send me that message. So for you, if your story is you want to be an example for your kids, a lot of moms that tell me that's their story, I'm like, that's awesome. That's so inspiring. I want to be an example for my future kids. That's for sure going to be a driver for me, I know. But peel it back to one more layer. You want to be an example for your kids. Do you want your kids to grow up with habits that they're like, well, my mom works out. That's just what we do, like brushing your teeth. Do you want them to get involved in your workouts? Do you want your kids to tell their friends that come over to your house that you change women's lives? That's what you do as your job, as your part-time job or your full-time job, whatever it is. What is it specifically that you are driven by that's going to make you show up even when it's not convenient? Whether this is your part-time job or whether this is your full-time job, that gratitude that you have an opportunity to control something that you can control in a world where there's a lot of crazy ish going on right now in this world, but you can control the effort that you put into your business. You can control who you get to serve using Beachbody as a platform. Okay? So proactive, plan out your schedule. Number two, gratitude. Okay? And then constantly, this is something that I'm huge about, asking yourself, can I have more fun doing the activity that I'm doing? If you are driven by community, grab a coach, post on your guys' team page. Who wants to do a live Zoom power hour with me? We're going to blast whatever. And like, I love Taylor Swift. We're going to blast Taylor Swift or Justin Bieber. And who wants to do all the things that we're all going to do independently, but do them together? Maybe that's a Zoom with working out with your team. We do that with our team sometimes, where it's like, whatever it is that drives you to want to actually do those behaviors, you got to do it. So make it more fun for yourself. If that means you put a face mask on, or right when you're done, you go do something super awesome to reward yourself that's not food-based, because I used to do that. Don't do that. But whatever it is, make this journey more fun. Proactive, gratitude, fun. You're going to continue to show up. And remember that this business and what you can do, maybe you don't know what this future looks like for this business for you, right? Maybe you're like me, where you started this as a side thing for more fulfillment in your life. But maybe you are the one person that reaches out to that one person who seriously needs you, and only you. You are literally the only person that can connect with that person. And their marriage is just hanging on by a thread because they don't have confidence in themselves. And it's coming out in all sorts of different ways. We've all been there, right? Or maybe they are literally just embarrassed and they're missing out on opportunities with their family because they're so embarrassed to go out and wear shorts or whatever it is, right? Or they're so embarrassed they're putting all their kids in front of them in their Christmas pictures and they don't feel confident at all. So they snap at their in-laws more than they want to, right? Like, you can be that person that solves that little problem, but you have to ask them. You absolutely have to ask them, and that will make you more excited. That will make you more passionate, and that will give you that fuel. I can't get messages saying, Kacia, because of you, my life's changed, if I don't invite people to join me. I'm not going to rely on people to come to me. I want to be the person that knows, and here's the selfish part of it. I want to be the person that when they fall in love with this process and they do the work, I can't do the work for anyone in their business. I won't take credit for their success in their journey or anything, but I do get to take credit in being the one that starts that conversation, being that one that reaches out, knowing that if you didn't reach out, they probably will not reach out to you, right? So be that person who actually invites them to join you, okay? Start really small, set those little manageable goals so you can start to build that confidence over time. And if you've been here for a long time and you feel like you've lost faith in yourself, or you've lost faith in the company or whatever it is, whatever you're dealing with, go back to that gratitude state, because I guarantee you, whether you've been a coach for one day or you've been a coach for 8 years, your life would look drastically different if this wasn't part of it. Otherwise, you wouldn't be spending Monday night on a call or listening to this recording. There's something that's tugging at your heartstrings that's saying, this is supposed to be part of my journey. I don't know what it looks like, but I'm supposed to be here. So you need to pay that gift forward. That's what we do as humans, right? We pay that gift forward. So that's all I really want to talk about. I'm gonna answer questions too.
Jeez, woman. One of my PS, Tanya, was just privately messaging me today. She's awesome. Like, I know, she makes me so excited for the business. Like, seriously, that's what you every time I hear you speak, you like fuel me with this, like, just reminds me of my passion, because sometimes the passion starts to dim because life and stuff, and you just reignite that in people. So thank you so freaking much. My gosh, do you have like 5 minutes? Maybe
yeah, no, totally. I can.
Yeah. So does anyone, we rarely ever like turn it over for Q&A, but if anyone has a question you'd want to ask Kacia, either in the thread or unmute yourself, let's do this. Let's take like 5 minutes. Does anyone have a question?
I can also tell you one thing that I'm really loving that's working really well, which is that I've been talking to my coaches about, is kind of finding that platform that you're excited about. So like I mentioned, Instagram, I really, really like Instagram. I love Instagram stories. And so if you're not using Instagram stories, it's such a simple way to connect with people. And I feel like it just paints this picture of like who you are as a person. And it makes it a little bit easier to be more authentic, because it's like, I can talk to my dog, or I can blast music, and I can be myself and talk to the camera like I'm talking to a friend. And then people can make that decision right then and there. I vibe with her or I don't, and it just makes it easier. It's not my decision whether they like me or not, but it makes it easier for me to know that like I am really for some people, and some people are gonna be like, that girl is way too much for me, or she's crazy or whatever. So Instagram stories are great for that. And what I've been doing is using the poll option on Instagram stories for little things. And I'm sure that a lot of you guys know this, but like, for example, I used the poll function last night. I was watching Love Actually, and I just posted like, have you ever seen this movie, which is a Christmas movie if you haven't seen it? And it's like, yeah, duh, or like, no, I haven't. And people that vote on those are people that you know are actually engaged with what you're saying. So those are the people that you can go message right away. You actually know who those people are. And I love Instagram stories because you can see who's viewing them, right? So the people that are engaging with you, or if you don't have a ton of people that are viewing your stories yet, if you're just starting, then that's your hot list right there. All of the people that are viewing your stories, I think of it like, this sounds weird, but they're like kind of like flirty. I've been out of like the dating world for a really long time. I've been with my boyfriend for 9 years, but I'm like, they're like flirting with you where they're already watching what you're doing. So you just get to send that private message, and you'd be shocked by sending a private message being like, hey girl, so fun to connect with you. We have a ton in common. Like, are you on your health and fitness journey too? It's like, no, I'm not, but I want to be. Or like, oh no, but I watch your Instagram stories and I see that you somehow managed to work out. Like, what's this magical unicorn juice you talk about every day when I talk about Energize, right? It sounds so trivial, but it works so dang well. So if you do like Instagram, like I do, use Instagram stories. It's amazing. And it's a lot more fun and easy to interact with people. And I feel like people expect those short conversations, and they can just go right over to your page. They can look at your like last few posts and they can be like, yeah, I vibe with her or I don't. As long as you're keeping it real, you're going to find a lot of those Me Too people, which is really what everyone's looking for, right? Like that human connection. Lily, your question of how you see who votes on your poll. So if you're looking at your Instagram story and you like scroll over and you see the poll, it actually shows who said yes and who said no.
Yep. Yeah, I have become a huge fan of Instagram stories, and I agree. I'm having fun.
Yeah.
And like, I don't have to stop and think and ponder what the message is going to be. And, you know, yes, I still do that with my posts. on Instagram, like my regular posts and on Facebook. But with Instagram stories, it's such an insight into the coach life and into your life, and people, like, they're either going to love it or they're going to not, and you don't have to waste your time. You know what I mean? And so I love that advice of get excited over a platform. And if you are excited about Instagram, then you have to learn the craft of Instagram stories. All I'm doing to learn it, you guys, is watching people like Kacia and who else? Well, Monica from our team is really good. Yesterday I texted her, I'm like, by the way, I copied like 7 things you did today. Don't hate me, but that's how you learn. And there's so many great coaches on IG stories that you can easily learn one new thing every single day, and it makes a huge difference in your business. So yeah, absolutely love that. So I have a question for you, because sharing is caring. That's right. I steal everything from you, Monica. I so appreciate that you mentioned the story of Summit when you heard me speak. Because that makes me feel good. I am a words of affirmation person. Every time you say that, I get all the feels everywhere. I'm like, I love her. But what were your, like, a few moments in your business that kind of like just swung the pendulum for you? Things that jog your memory as to, I got it this day because someone said that. If you can just share some of those moments.
Yeah. So I think part of it was before I posted my first post on Facebook, I actually cried, which I'm really outgoing, but I was really, really nervous because I had never posted on social media before. And I remember telling a couple of my best friends, being like, okay, I'm going to do this coaching thing, but like no one even knows that I've been doing these like challenge groups, like behind closed doors. I wasn't talking about it or anything, which is very unlike me. But I was really concerned that I didn't look like the cover of Shape magazine, and I had this awesome corporate career, but I was never really someone who was super passionate about health and fitness. I played sports and whatnot, but I was a big party girl in college too. And so I was like, people are going to think that it's really weird. And I remember my first like confidence, big deposit came from honestly just posting that thing that I was nervous to post and saying that I was going to be a coach. I ran away from my phone. Literally, I posted it and then I just like ran away. I texted my girlfriends and said like, go like my post on Facebook. I posted a weird post. And then I went into my car to go to work that morning and I cried off all of my makeup because I got a message from a girl who I went to high school with and hadn't talked to in like 10 years and said, hey, I know this is completely random, but I just saw your Facebook post. I'm struggling so much in my life right now. I think you're the person that can help me. What do I need to do? I want to be involved with whatever you're doing. That first day. And I literally was late to work. I had to go back and like redo my makeup and go back to work because I remember being like, you know what? Whenever I hear people say like, oh, well, if one person's life has changed, like this will, feel so good to me. But literally one person was like, because you said this, and again, it goes back to that ripple effect. And right then and there, I was like, this is going to be bigger than I thought it was right now. And then obviously Summit. I think Summit's just getting to live events is so huge. For me, it was Summit. I hadn't been to a Super Saturday before Summit. I really had no idea what I was getting into going to Summit. I thought that I had a really different perception of what Beachbody was because a lot of the stories that I had heard were a lot of people that had back against the wall type stories that I didn't quite connect with. So it was really just hearing someone that like, although our stories are different, hearing someone that had this job that I was like, dang, it takes a lot of work to be a lawyer. And she was like, had a lot of growth in her career and decided to walk away from it later. That story really resonated with me. And I remember just sitting there being like, I can do this. But it was also because I had been in love with that process. And when I caught myself thinking about Beachbody and wanting to build this business, I knew that I was like onto a heart thing where I was in love with actually doing it. I really wasn't as concerned with what that end goal was going to be, but I wanted to make this something. I wanted it to be of impact. If I was going to do it, even if it wasn't, I didn't know what the narrative would look like, that was going to be huge. The next big one, I'll share one more, is when I exceeded my income, insert income disclaimer, at Google by $1 at the New Leader Conference, the very first year that they did it, this was like my first year that I was like all in. No, it was No, it was February of 2015 or January of 2015. I met Carl Deichler and drank a glass of wine with him and told him how I was going to just like do crazy things in this business. And I had just passed my income by $1 and started 5-star qualification. And I was like, this is huge. Like, I'm so onto something right now. This is going to be huge. And it was also just because I really freaking loved what I was doing. So constantly asking yourself, like, what can I do to make myself proud? What are those things that I'm a little bit nervous to do, and kind of pushing that envelope a little bit more? It's like, if your goal is Success Club 6 and you've done that a million times, why not push your goal a little bit, right? Or why not find a more inventive way to do something that you're more excited about? If you have another coach that you respect on this team or that you really like vibe with, send them a message and tell them why and build a new friendship. And you never know like how mutually beneficial that can be too. So constantly just like anytime that I've done something that's a little out of my comfort zone, like walking up to Carl with my glass of wine and like putting my arm around him, like when I didn't know him, being like, you don't know me, but hi. Anytime I do those things, I'm always really proud of myself and I feel really excited and things start to click because I'm like, I did that. It was a little bit nervous and I didn't die. Okay, I did that. I was a little nervous, didn't die. And that confidence again starts to build where I don't cry over Facebook posts anymore and I don't get scared to invite because that's taken me time and repetition, but there's no way to substitute that. And if I could give you a pill that made you confident, I wouldn't give it to you anyways, because the person that I became in the journey towards the pursuit of the goal is a person that I love so much more than the person that I was 4 years ago. And not because of income or rank or anything that Beachbody milestones, but because of literally just the person that cares so much about adding value to other people and has her priorities in check, you know?
Amen, sister.
Yeah.
Sister, preach. I'm going to let you go, but, you know, a lot of times we beat ourselves up to a point where we get paralyzed and we stop. And I don't want to pour salt on a wound, but you just missed a big goal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Talk a little bit about that.
Yes.
How, you know, you pick yourself up and you did, and you're here and you're speaking with so much conviction that all of us are inspired. Like, tell us how you do that, because we all need that inspiration where, yes, life is going to happen. Yes, we're going to miss some things, but who cares? Let's keep helping people. So tell us.
So in June of this year, I decided that our team wanted to push for 15-star, but here's the backstory. I had to build a couple of accounts. I have a third business center, whatever. Our team pushed for 15-star. We started qualification for 1 week. So we hit it on the exact date that we planned, and I was like on top of the world. And then one of my long-term coaches actually took a step back in the business, and it was a complete shock to me. The first time that that's ever really happened to me, that I was totally blindsided by it. And I'm so grateful. Honestly, yeah, of course, like you look at like the 15-star bonuses and you look at all this stuff and you're like, how did that happen? But I will tell you with every single morsel of my body that I am so dang grateful that that happened, because number one, I actually can authentically say to someone, I get what it feels like to miss a goal, and then decide, how much do you love this? Get back freaking up. Seriously, I want to be that person that can be an example of that. And here's the thing, I don't have kids yet, but I know that all of these things, when I'm doing something and I'm failing and I build that resiliency to get back up, missing 15-star is not going to be the hardest thing that happens to me in my life. Like, yeah, it was tough and I definitely cried and I was really upset, but that's not the hardest thing. That's building this muscle that I've never even built before. And honestly, missing 15-star is kind of the best goal to miss, because I can't miss anything bigger than that. So I can't miss a bigger bonus. I can't miss a bigger rank. And it gave me an opportunity to take ownership and then go back to my team and be like, yeah, you know what? I was upset and like this was whatever, but like I'm going to do it. And guess what? We are going to do it by January. So like it's going to happen, and it's going to be even sweeter, because most of the time it's not really about the goal, right? It's the person that you're becoming along the way. And I guarantee you, again, with every single morsel of me, I'm a better human being. I'll be a better mom. I will be a better entrepreneur because I hit a massive roadblock and had to take a step back and grieve. I definitely grieved. I think that's really important. And I didn't like talk to any humans for an entire day. And I drank a lot of wine, I'll be honest. But then I got back up after it and I was like, I am simply not the person who's going to just take a step back and pretend like this goal doesn't matter and decide that the goal doesn't matter just because I didn't hit it. BS. If it mattered to you once, you will honestly just want to hit the goal. Don't decide that the goal doesn't matter anymore simply because you didn't hit it. Because I did that, you guys. For a second there, I was like, well, maybe I just like, maybe it's like not meant to be that we hit 15-star. Maybe I like don't know how to lead a 15-star team. And then I was like, screw that. I know what to do. I'm getting back after it. I'm going to be the person that talks about that later. So I actually really appreciate you bringing that up because it was one of the actual moments that I think I've been the most proud of myself because I didn't even know what it felt like to get back up after a loss like that and be the person that shows up for my team even when it was easy for me to just like run and hide and be embarrassed. Instead, I'm like, you know what? Like, let's be real about this. The work that I did to get there, I built 2 diamond accounts. I signed up more coaches than I've ever signed up that I totally vibe with. I shattered my own limiting beliefs and it's only impacted my business in a really positive way since then. So
damn.
Back up.
Damn. That was awesome. I always tell all of my coaches and all the calls that I host that you have to grow. You have to grow into the goal, right? You have to grow into a diamond. You have to grow into a 5-star. You have to grow into a 10-star. You have to grow into a 15-star. And let me tell you, because I've been there, I did it. Our team hit 15-star, and I have no doubt that Kacia's going to hit and her team's going to hit. And there's people on this call that will hit that goal. That goal does not make you more important than anyone else. What makes you so important is the growth that it takes to even get to your goals, right? Like think of the person you have to become to lead a diamond, 5-star, 10-star, 15-star. And that's the importance of hitting and accomplishing stuff. It's because it's not the day that you get the celebration. It's what happens on the journey there and then afterwards. Yeah. So you guys, like, don't define your worth by a thing, by a rank or any of that. Define it as how you grew into that accomplishment and what you're going to do after it, right? Like, can't you feel it in Kacia, the way she talks? Like, the goal is right there for her and her team. Like, it's going to happen. Like, the conviction is so palpable that it will happen. That's what needs to run through your veins as you work this business, because that's what's going to give you the backbone, the character, the conviction, and, you know, the willpower to do big things with this, right? And you know, my quote is success is defined the way you want to define it. But you know, not accomplishing something isn't a reason to throw the towel in or to forget why you do this, right? And now it's such an important time that we all get together and reignite our passion as a whole, as a unit, as Diesel Nation, as all the different sub-teams that comprise of this organization, because imagine the ripple effect that's going to happen in 2018 if we do that, right? So I hope it's 10 o'clock. You guys, our team calls are usually like 30 minutes long, but I could not stop Kacia from talking. I cannot thank you enough for this. It's exactly what we needed to hear. You guys need to spread this recording, like not just post it on your team page, literally send the link to whoever you know needs to hear it, right? Make sure that they get the message because it's that important. So thank you, Kacia. I appreciate it.
Guys.
I love you.
Love you. See you guys soon.
Bye. You guys, I'm going to post the link. Another reminder that we have our next team call is next Monday, December 11th with Autumn. It's going to be webinar style. I'm going to share the link so that you can share it with your prospects. And let's blow it up, you guys. ADD Obsession is going to be a game changer for us, for you, for our team, for everything. Have a great night. I love you all. I hope this call was helpful. Blow up Kacia's Facebook post or whatever. She's amazing, right? Bye, you guys. Talk to you later.